Parashas Vayeishev introduces us to the tension that developed between Yosef and his older brothers. Yosef was a dreamer. Yosef was somebody who envisioned himself as being greater than his brothers in many ways, that ultimately they would be bowing down to him, and his brothers resented it. His brothers had many reasons to feel that Yosef was either a false prophet or somebody who was sowing the seeds of distrust and sowing the seeds of hatred between brother and brother. And as a result, they took action against Yosef. But before all of this happens, the Torah introduces us to Yosef as a na'ar, Yosef as a lad. And the Torah tells us that he was 17 years old, and yet the Torah refers to him as a lad. And Rashi explains because Yosef was engaged in the kind of behaviors that maybe would be considered vain and childish, combing his hair and taking care of his physical appearance. And so the question becomes, why is that a reflection of a person's youth to the point where he'd be called a lad, which is a term typically used for a younger boy? And I remember years ago visiting the house of Rav Shimon Schwab Zatzal together with my class, and he asked this question. And he said, the idea of a na'ar is somebody who is premature in terms of what he is trying to accomplish. In other words, he acts too hastily towards his goals, and he doesn't allow the situation to mature and to develop. Yosef knew, as per the dreams, that he would eventually be the ruler over his brothers and over his family, as we saw manifest in Mitzrayim years later. But for the short term, Yosef was still one of the brothers, and he needed to play out his role in the way that Hashem would allow it to unfold. But Yosef was hasty. Yosef already saw himself as a king. And we know that the halacha, the law is that a king needs to be engaging in daily grooming, haircuts, trimmings, and a variety of other things because it's fitting for the position of the king to be well kept and well mannered. And so Yosef saw himself as a future king, and he wanted to conduct himself in that manner already from a young age. And that, Rav Schwab said, was the narus. That was the youthfulness, the immaturity, the inability to wait for the proper time for all of that to manifest. This, I think, is a very powerful lesson. On the one hand, we want to aspire to greatness. We want to take purposeful action, and that really is something we should be doing every day. But we need to balance our action and our future and our vision with our realities of today and find the right line between the two. It's hard to know sometimes whether or not our future should sort of take over us. Yes, we want to kind of imagine ourselves there already and sort of fill in that role, but at the same time, the Parsha is telling us that Hashem has a plan and it will come at the right time. Yes, we should think it and hopefully it will come, but only because Hashem wills it so. Wishing you a wonderful Shabbos.